I make the world graphical.
I add value through my products.
I am an animator.
I am a filmmaker. I develop trends.
I transform designs to reality.
I create environments.
I translate stories to furniture.
I design experiences. I'm an immersive media designer.
I design mobility.
This is not only a design institute.
This is a design lab.
Join us in our design movement.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 11th edition of MIT Webinar Series. I'm Saili Sonar, Faculty of Interior Space and Furniture Design at MIT Institute of Design. In this edition of webinar, we are going to discuss about interior space and furniture design at Studio ISFD and answer question of live audience through question and answer session. Today we have with us Professor Amit Deshmukh, who is the HOD of Interior Space and Furniture Design Department at MIT ID. He is an architect and an industrial designer having 19 years of experience, and Professor Vasudha Karadkar, who has been a part of the growth and expansion of interior space and furniture design industry for the past 30 years. So we would like to have a discussion about interior space and furniture design as a discipline, and we are going to cover a few things about the discipline and also have some clarity about the misconceptions that we have and also answer a few questions. So I would like to start with Amit sir.
Yeah.
Sir, would you like to elaborate on what is this at Studio ISFD and what is this discipline about?
Yeah, so ISFD stands for Interior Space and Furniture Design. So here at MIT ID, what we look at is, we look at designing of spaces of all kinds which are for basic human needs. So we look at it as a system, and we also look at, say, interior and exterior spaces together. So when we are looking at it holistically, it also goes with all kind of products that go into the spaces, or the products which become part of designing a space. And furniture, of course, becomes one of the major product in that category. So here we are looking at furniture design, we are looking at space design, but we are looking at it very holistically, and the approach is such that the outcome becomes a very well designed system. So that is what ISFD stands for.
Okay. And so ma'am, would you like to elaborate on, we have this discipline called as retail and exhibition design, and the parallel discipline which is interior space and furniture design. So both are related to space. So what is the key difference between both of them?
Okay, so in interior space and furniture design, the spaces are which we deal with are generally user specific or user centered, where generally we look into spaces where people are living for a longer duration of time. And some examples are residential spaces, it could be commercial spaces, hospitality spaces. So these are the spaces which we deal in interior space and furniture design. Whereas in retail and exhibition design, generally the spaces are designed for commercial aspect, and definitely the timeline of the user in the space is shorter. Some of the examples are exhibition spaces, museums where the visitor only goes for seeing the spaces, and set design, etc.
Oh. And similarly, we have product design, and we also have furniture design as a niche discipline. So is there some connect between both of them, and is there some kind of a connect, or they are completely separate as disciplines?
No, definitely there is a connect, because both of them come under the bigger domain of industrial design. So if we look abroad or in Europe, most of the courses of furniture design come under industrial design only. But here in say Indian context, you need different expertise to handle different kind of projects. So if you want to handle a product design kind of a project, you need different expertise, whereas handling a furniture project needs different kind of expertise. So we are looking at products which have a very specific space context. So what we largely call them as space equipments, and as I said earlier, furniture becomes one of the major space equipment in that context. If I want to elaborate onto the approaches which a product designer takes and a furniture designer takes, so product design work predominantly will be a teamwork, wherein the product designer conceptualizes and it's taken as a team effort with the engineering help to the final output. Whereas when you look at a furniture product or a furniture design, the furniture designer himself has to look at right from conceptualization to how it will be made. So start to end involvement is definitely involved into that. And one thing I would like to focus on to is interior space and furniture design is not soft product designing, because it's a very hard and technical kind of a domain that we have. So the kind of courses that we deal in MIT ID over here, like say product design will focus on to the technicalities in their domain. So they will look at some engineering aspects, some mechanisms and electronics, and those kind of sub technical courses will be there. Whereas furniture design predominantly will look at materials very specific to interiors and furniture. We will look at joineries, which is very important part of any furniture, and structural aspects, because the structural analysis and structural strength of a furniture system is what is looked into. So these are the things.
Okay, that's very interesting. Also, then in that case, who can opt for this particular discipline of ISFD? So what that person should have?
I think we'll give answer at two stages. If I have to talk about very generically, I will like to focus on to three major qualities which one student should have. The first quality would be, one, he has to have passion about this field. So he has to have a space perception. Like you go to certain spaces and you feel that wow, like you can understand the composition of the spaces. I think this is one of the qualities that is required. Second, he should have material sensitivity. So he should be very sensitive to material. He should be ready to explore different materials at different stages, and ability to link different materials and see it in different contexts is what also will be preferred. And third, I will put it as dexterity. So he has to be very hands-on. He has to do something. He has to have that ability of doing something or trying out something with his own hand. These are the generic qualities which I would put forward.
If we see at postgraduate level, I think students who have done maybe some interior design course, a basic interior design course, who have done architecture or who have done civil engineering could be opting out for this course, because they have already had some basic knowledge which is related to interiors, and they could be looking into getting into interior design. Also, they should have understanding of 3D visualization, and definitely looking at a space and its elements into a holistic way.
Okay. So in that case, what are the career options? So once the student is an ISFD graduate, what are the career options that he is exposed to, and what is the scope of things that he will be touching upon when he is actually into the industry?
Okay, so once the student is graduated from here, from interior space and furniture design, because already as Professor Amit told you that we have a holistic course which actually integrates furniture and spaces, both of the things. So we are preparing the students into the interior projects as well as furniture projects. So the students when pass out from here are capable of handling interiors independently as well as furniture. So they could be getting into design offices where interior specific projects are being done. They generally collaborate with architects and work with them for interior projects. They could be working on furniture industries, mass manufacturing units like Godrej, etc., which are into mass manufacturing. They could be also working in craft sector and working in as independent, or working along with craftsperson and working in those fields, or they have an advantage of working as a design consultant doing interior projects, or also setting up their own furniture units. So I think that is an advantage which we have in interior space and furniture design for a student in terms of career.
So I think craft these days also has taken up a lot of momentum, because of which you can actually intervene through design intervention in the craft sector. Yeah, so that is very interesting. And going ahead with asking Amit sir about a few things about what would be the bigger vision of ISFD as a discipline. So where do you envision it to be, and what would be the details of your vision?
Okay, so I think at a very larger context, the vision of ISFD department predominantly will be giving a multidisciplinary education to the students. So we don't want to compartmentalize them into, say, you are just furniture designer or you are just interior designer, because the field outside requires a multidisciplinary approach. So we also would like them to not only look at the commercial sector of this thing, but also to the very contextually Indian sector of, say, rural context, as well as small scale and craft industries, as Professor Vasula also said. So they should be able to handle at the vertical strata of the pyramid. I think that's what we would envision at. Now, as a larger vision, we also look at incubation of students' products. What we have is, we have a brand called as Ad Studio ISFD, through which we take student projects to incubation. And I am happy to share that we have around 13 design registrations that are under our belt as a department, where students beyond their academic fulfillments work on their projects with help of faculty and with help of the workshop staff to come up with the prototypes, which are then tested and given for design registrations. And I think across all last 4 years, we have 13 such design registrations which we have got. So I think that is what is a vision that we are looking for.
Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah.
So it's not only, say, that we just want to collect these design registrations, but I think the design should see the light of the day at some time. So any student later on in his career can take these designs further and commercialize them. We are absolutely open to that.
Right. Okay. So looking at the kind of dynamics that the department has or the discipline has, ma'am, would you like to, so from your 30 years of experience till now and being in academics as well as in industry, would you like to throw some light on the trends that you have seen, the transition of the trends that has happened over the past 30 years? It will be really interesting to know.
Actually, yeah, it's almost 30 years that I am into the field. I think initially in 80s it was more of, if we see Indian context, I think it was more of very heavy furniture, and the furniture was more wooden and heavily carved, and those kinds of styles were more in. I think it has seen a lot of change in terms of trend in say last decade. It was more of, because the heaviness had gone off from the furniture and the spaces also, so it had become more lighter and streamlined. And now when we see, it has become very sleek furniture, and I think the trends have also changed based on the lifestyle or the social change in the structures has also affected the trends in the interior spaces. And now we see more compact furniture, because people are moving a lot, and they are not looking forward to having a very heavy furniture with them. So they are going to very sleek furniture, and also similarly even the spaces have also become very compact, and the heaviness or the decoration, heavy decoration has gone from the entire spaces. So it is more Scandinavian style is in.
We like to focus on the color trends which are there.
Yes, so having researched in the field of color, and I have seen a lot of different kind of transitions when you look at different parts of India, and the kind of color research that has happened. I also worked with a color and trend design studio, and there I saw a lot of different kind of trends that have come up with respect to what the paint industry wants, or what the residential sector wants, or what the industrial sector wants. So that kind of a color analysis and color what you can say, trend forecasting that happens is very interesting, and now people are more aware of, you know, they are very choosy about what kind of color they want in their interiors. Initially it wasn't like that, it was more of traditional elements that people used.
Do you think fashion also dictates the colors in
Yeah,
interiors?
definitely, yes. I think fashion also has taken a lot of, the main focus when it comes to the color forecasting or trend forecasting when it comes to color. So yeah. So what are the factors, I would like to ask Amit sir, that what are the factors you feel will affect the current scenario of the interior design industry and the future aspects of it?
I think technology is going to be the key. So I think right now, if we also see, there's lots of digital technology which is also pouring into space design. We have say AR and VR kind of technologies which are giving different kind of experiential qualities to spaces. So technology would be, so that kind of a digital technology definitely will dominate, or would be very much what users will go for, or the clients will want for. The another aspect of technology is there is also lots of change in the way buildings are being built. So we see one day, one slab kind of initiatives that are there, and you finish off one slab into one day, to the extent of even you have a completely rapid prototype buildings which are coming up. So all these things are going to affect the space industry. Also, if I look at the manufacturing industry, there are lots of again changes which are happening. New technologies are coming, new materials are being explored, new materials are combined with different materials, and even the way a person would buy a furniture. If I have to put an example, something like IKEA. So the company only manufactures these things, the client at his home has to do it by himself, assemble the furniture by himself. So maybe the role of the carpenter will go on reducing. That's at one level, but at the same time there is very much emphasis on craft also. So technology in some way or the other will affect craft, but I think the IKEA example would be kind of a key to affect the industry most.
Yeah, I think this IKEA factor has
Yes,
really
absolutely.
affected the Indian design industry. And ma'am, would you like to elaborate on, what would be the IKEA impact on the Indian design industry per se?
Yeah, I think IKEA is setting up and expanding in Indian market, and trying to understand Indian market as yet. And I think because it is into mass manufacturing, it is targeting the middle income group in general, and that is what I think is going to affect mainly. And definitely it will affect market in terms of products which are going to be because of IKEA manufacturing at mass level, the costs are low, and definitely people will be going in for that. Again, the lifestyles are becoming where people are not looking for a long-term investment in furniture. They are looking for no use and throw kind of a furniture. So I think the cost definitely is one of the aspects which might take over and help IKEA to establish over here. But otherwise, if you look into the way Amit said, craft and other things which are specific to Indian, I think those areas will still be a positive point for Indian market to still sustain over here.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of lifestyle changes when it comes to IKEA coming into the market, and how everybody is going to buy it, right from the middle income group to the so that is also very interesting. Looking at that, would like to throw some light, especially sir, if you can throw some light on what would be the uniqueness of ISFD as a discipline. So what is so unique about it at MIT ID?
Okay, so definitely there are many institutes, many courses which give space design education, but I think I would like to highlight onto the uniqueness that we have at MIT ID. The first and foremost thing is we are absolutely hands-on approach. So whatever the student has to conceptualize on paper, predominantly it has to be made. So it gives you actual handling of material, and it gives you more confidence. So that's the first thing. So also you're learning space design in a design environment. So that kind of peer learning and the kind of multidisciplinary aspects that you learn from say a graphic designer or a product designer, that help you in a long way. So that also I would put it as a very uniqueness. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a holistic approach, so which is very user centric, because our philosophy of the institute also says that, or focuses onto that. So we look at space and furniture as a system, and that makes it just more than interior decoration. So you're not just putting few pretty things into a space and making it look pretty, but it here with this kind of approach, it will work efficiently.
I think also we follow a process for design development. I think that is what is uniqueness for ISFD at MIT IT.
Yeah. So are there any core competencies which which an ISFD graduate will possess once he is ready to face the industry?
I think once he goes out, he's capable of handling. I had earlier also told you that he's capable of handling furniture, because he's given the inputs, he follows the process. We have workshops over here in which they actually make the models and prototypes, which are not mock prototypes, but they can be actually tested over here. And I think that is what gives them confidence to work in the industry, and that is what is a winning edge for them in the market, because that is others don't have that kind of a confidence. Working with materials and doing the things on their own, I think gives them a edge over the other competitors.
Yeah.
The entire process of making a prototype, it's like a labor pain. So you go through that process, and that gives you more and more confidence. So like whatever we are seeing over here in the setup is predominantly made by the students. Some are their designs, some are like designs done by the faculty, some are designs of great designers which are prototyped over here. So going through this process, making these drawings, interacting with the workshop people, I think that is what is the uniqueness, and that builds up the core competencies.
Yeah.
I think because they go through the process also, they understand what is happening at the back end of a furniture manufacturing process. So that is what helps them also to set up their own units once they go out.
Right. Yeah. So we would like to have some questions from the live audience, who have been watching the webinar. This is a question from Rishikesh, and his question is, what is the role of additive manufacturing in furniture design?
Okay, as I said earlier, rapid prototyping definitely is kind of taking or is getting into furniture manufacturing also. So rather than say making 10 prototypes and coming on to the final configuration, I think these additive manufacturing techniques are helping you to resolve the furniture design on the desktop itself. Okay, so this is I think really helpful, and we also encourage use of these technologies. And if I have to talk for the industry, a person who is investing into the tooling and this thing, so there also lots of cost is saved at that level. So these technologies are definitely going to help in the industry as well as in the academics.
Okay. Next question is from Amish. He is asking, how do I prepare portfolio for getting admission in the ISFD course at MIT ID?
Hello Amish, I think for ISFD, you have to basically make up a portfolio which shows something in relation to interiors as well as furniture. So in case you are looking for no admission into ISFD, we would be looking forward to what are your inclination towards space design, and are you also interested in hands-on work? Have you worked with different kinds of materials? I think these are the things which should be shown into your portfolio for you to get into ISFD.
Okay. Next question is from Maithili. As mentioned, current trends or language of furniture and space design is more Scandinavian. Where does Indian design language fall in this tradition?
Okay, I think Indian design language is basically related to our traditional and crafts, which is very predominantly we say Indian. And as at current, I think it is more of picking up some craft and modifying it as per your needs into and integrating it with your furniture. So it's not totally highlighted. In case some people are interested in craft furniture, they go into a very detailed kind of a craft furniture, but otherwise it's generally crafts which are integrated in some form. So maybe you are just highlighting a handle which is craft done in a craft with some specific craft, or it could be some inlay work. So I think these are very little elements which make up Indian furniture or highlight the Indian aspects of a furniture.
Okay. So would you want to add something on
If
it?
I have to add on it, I think globally also the trends are changing. So earlier, as was also mentioned, the traditional craft was very regional. So now if we look at pan India, the entire trends are almost common. So you go to any city, say Pune, or you go to Bangalore, the kind of spaces that are there are absolutely the same. So there is also common language that is emerging up, but still along with the global common language, there is some kind of an Indian uniqueness that the designers over here or maybe the traditions are still maintaining, as she mentioned. That's what I would like to add.
So next question is from Anand. He's asking, caption of the webinar states at Studio ISFD. Can you throw light on what is at Studio ISFD?
I think the early years of the department when we started, we used to participate in Index Furniture Fair. So I think we participated with student designs that were displayed over there. We participated for 3 years. And then along our growth, we kind of felt a need that these design needs to be registered because there is lots of copying that happens. And so that is, with that idea, with that vision is what we coined this brand as at Studio ISFD. So anything that happens in the ISFD studio is maybe say spaces, furnitures, the form courses that you come up with, any kind of products that you come up with, it's everything falls under at Studio ISFD. So in a department we work as a team with students. So apart from their academics, as I said earlier, the designs for incubation are taken ahead by this brand at Studio ISFD.
Next question is from Ashish. He's asking, how shall online platforms affect space and furniture design industry?
I think online platforms only help in terms of selecting furniture for you. So it is very individual selection. Generally people are looking around things, going to spaces, and then working on going and buying in online. But I think it doesn't cover the holistic aspect of the space. It means in a space you could be having 10 different things which could be coming from 10 different places, which will not give you an integrated feeling in the space. I think that is what how it will online market will affect.
Yeah, I think what you are saying, have experienced the same thing, that the clients who don't have any thought process, they'll just take images from Pinterest and put it together, but in the end they don't know how to put them together.
Yeah, I think that is what generally happens. Yeah.
But if I have to add on, in terms of furniture manufacturing, online platforms are changing the way furnitures are manufactured. So certain online platforms demand certain numbers of furniture. So that changes the approaches a furniture designer works or also the way things are manufactured. So in a way they are affecting, and clients are becoming more and more exposed to, at a click of a button you are exposed to certain styles which the web tells you. So that is also affecting in certain ways.
But I think as a designer, if you are looking for getting into online furniture, you have to have a whole setup of vendors who could be doing work for you, and definitely then design rights and all other aspects also come into picture. So I think it is slightly tricky to handle that at this stage.
Next question is from Vishnu. He asks, how should one go about collaborating with local artisans in spatial design? So probably
Yeah, I think for craft sector at ISFD department over here, we definitely have a course in craft study, and we make sure that we go cover different areas or regions in India, and take students over there for them to understand different kinds of crafts and see how the work is being done. Now bringing them into interior definitely needs a lot of interaction with them, building a rapport with them, working with them, understanding how they work, and definitely it is a time consuming job, and one has to be really interested in getting into the craft sector, and definitely the skill getting the skilled craftsperson to getting the furniture work is definitely easy, but I think getting them for your space work is slightly difficult, and you might have to get the work done partially over there and then bring it over bring it to your space.
Yeah.
Would you like to add something?
I think, as rightly said, one has to look at it not disturbing the original inherent aspects of the craft. So you can't go and impose your design ideas onto a craftsman. So craftsman, as we firmly believe in the institute and in the department, that craftsman has a better design sense within his domain. So without disturbing that, whatever his expertise are, certain things should be left to the craftsman, and very wisely it should be adopted into the kind of spaces, and then it will give very amazing results, and say it will maintain the essence of it also,
Yeah.
And kind of the localness of the craft also for the
Very
spaces. Yeah.
So I think this question is from a very fresh graduate in Bachelor in Interior Design student, and he's asking whether I should opt for a job or whether I should do my PG.
I think it's mainly we would like to know what kind of interior course he has done, and whether he has got enough inputs, and is he confident enough to handle the projects in the industry. I think that is what would decide whether he wants to continue and come into PG. Definitely at ISFT, at MITID, we have furniture design, which is our, I think, specialization, and in case he is keen into getting into furniture and understanding the detailing of furniture and key aspects of furniture design, then he should opt for post-graduation, and we would definitely welcome him over here.
Yeah, even I would suggest him to go for a postgraduate program, because that will add to the edge of the profession. Next question is by Seema. What is the best way to get updated about the latest trends of interior design industry?
Okay, I think there are lots of exhibitions which keep happening.
Yeah.
So that's a best forum to keep yourself updated. But I think at student level, we also tell our students to go to the market. So this particular discipline cannot be learned by sitting into the studio. So you have to go out in the market, you have to talk to the people who are selling those products, who are selling these materials, and that is what upgrades you to the maximum extent.
So more of a field
I
exposure.
think exposure to the market and exhibitions, I think that is what would help them.
We have also seen when people come for post-graduation, they have done their graduation, they have worked in certain disciplines, they have worked into industry, but very simple material basic sizes they don't know. So I think it starts from there. So not all things can be learned from book and sitting into a studio. You have to go out in the market. That's the best learning that you have.
Yes, absolutely true. Next question is from Sanjana, and she's asking what are the key softwares that interior designers and furniture designers use in the industry?
Okay, since again it's a bigger domain of space design where architecture becomes the major or takes the major role, certain AutoCAD softwares definitely are the key this thing. So I would differentiate it into say 3 levels. One is where you are drafting it out, okay. Second, where you are conceptualizing things, and the third is where you are making a digital model to give it for furniture manufacturing. So at all these 3 levels, there are different softwares which are there. If I have to name some, basically AutoCAD is there. SketchUp is also coming up or is accepted by the industry to maximum this thing. And when you go to the higher platforms of mass manufacturing, Solid Edge, SolidWorks, those kind of softwares, Rhino, these softwares also are there. So I think these are the main softwares which are there.
Okay. Next question is by Sahil. What is the difference between working pattern of Indian and foreign interior industry?
Okay. I think the main difference is when we look at Indian industry, still we have lot of carpenter or hands, basically hand skills are being used in Indian industry in terms of interior spaces. Whereas I think outside it is more of pre-made panels and other things are used, so it's more easy, more easy to assemble and do the things outside. Whereas in India, still people, as you had also mentioned earlier, that they look into the books and other things and give you references to work with. So it is more carpenter based, which is I think a very tedious job, and it takes a lot of time. And then I think that is what affects the Indian industry in terms of interior spaces, and it is also time consuming. Slowly, definitely, we are getting into pre-made panels and pre-manufactured or pre-casted panels, but I think it's still going to take time, and I think that is what is the major difference in terms of still people depending upon local craftsperson or carpenter to do their jobs.
Also at say design stage, I think the approach in outside India is more conceptual. So and it's at amazing extent that they stretch the concepts to, and there they look at again a teamwork of say structural engineers, material experts to take those concepts to reality, which in a way in India is still not binding up in that way, because again there are these cost aspects are there. The way the client doesn't want to invest into multiple professional experts. I think that's what I would put it as a reason. So over here, along with, as Vasudha said, with the help of a carpenter, you have to take the project to the finishing end. Whereas over there's a team which takes the projects to, so that you can, it helps in a way of stretching your concepts to the maximum extent.
Yeah. Next question is from Swati. She is asking, I am a graduate of architecture and can I opt for masters in ISFD?
Yes, of course. With 5 years of architecture, I think what you have learned is the way to handle spaces. You have also learned the technicalities of spaces, the building construction aspect of it. But I think what general architecture education misses onto is the hands-on approach. I think that's what again our uniqueness is. So after doing architecture, doing a post-graduation with a very focused output, that okay, I want to become, after doing this course, I want to get into this kind of agency, it will definitely help.
So she should be
Absolutely.
going for a
Absolutely.
master's program. Next question is from Asha, and she is asking, I am from commerce background and can I get admission in ISFD?
Okay, I think we have some prerequisites which we have put in for this thing, because for post-graduation it's a very short course. To be very frank, it's a specialization. So that means you need to have certain prerequisites which you should learn, and that is what will become a hindrance. So earlier we had tried that approaches, and we also got some mixed result. We got some good students with commerce background, we got some students who also struggled over there. But I think we have come to a conclusion that basic prerequisites has to be fulfilled.
I think I'll just add to that, because it's only a 2 years course, and one semester goes into the industry for their graduation project. So they actually get very less time to cope up with the technical aspects of it, and that is why if they have some basic understanding of interiors and making drawings or basic skills, I think that helps them to build upon that easily within the compact time which they have with us.
Right. Next question is from Karishma, and she is asking, what are the important elements to build an impressive and professional portfolio for furniture design industry?
Okay, I think for us, Karishma, I think for you it will be important for a furniture designer that you have enough of projects. You should express your material handling skills in your portfolio. Your project should show in terms of how the design development has happened, and definitely what is the output, and definitely validation of your project. If that is represented in your portfolio, I think that will help you to get into furniture industry. Also, it depends upon which furniture industry you are interested in. Are you interested in mass manufacturing? Then definitely you should be having those kinds of projects in your portfolio. Or if you are going in for say traditional furniture or craft furniture, I think your portfolio should reflect whatever you have in whichever industry you want to go into.
So would you want to
I think
add?
Karishma, make something and let it fail. I think that will be the best kind of thing that you can add into your portfolio, because that will give you the kind of things that you need to learn, and that will make you more focused.
Yeah. So thank you, ma'am and sir, for your insights, and it was really wonderful talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I make the world graphical.
I add value through my products.
I am an animator.
I am a filmmaker. I develop trends.
I transform designs to reality.
I create environments.
I translate stories to furniture.
I design experiences. I am an immersive media designer.
I design mobility.
This is not only a design institute.
This is a design lab.
Join us in our design